Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I got a brand new video for you, ladies and gentlemen. But before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, first time here, never ever seen any of my NBA lineup advice videos, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the community and get the content on a regular basis is to become a subscriber down below. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you put on that bell icon, turn that on. This way you don't miss out on any of my NBA lineup advice videos when I upload them. With that being said, today is Thursday, January the 10th, 2019, and we have a 4-game slate in the association. And first things first, I want to apologize. I didn't put a video out yesterday. I woke up and I felt like crap yesterday. I was totally under the weather, not feeling that well. I feel like 90% better today. I did feel better probably about 7 p.m., 8 p.m. last night. Was able to draw up a couple of lineups real quick for the after hours. I probably needed that because the 2 days before that I was getting my butt kicked. Monday and Tuesday didn't pan out as well. So, but I did make a little bit of money back on some small 100 player GPPs last night. So at least I was able to recoup some of the money I did lose on Tuesday. But the grind continues. Like I say here, man, I'm here. I'm a grinder, so we're going to grind away. DFS can be like that. You're going to have some moments where things are going pretty good. You're winning on a little consistent basis or 4 or 5 times a week. And then there's going to be some days where, you know, some of the plays are not going to pan out. So, but I'm here. I'm ready to go. And as you know, when we do here at DFS Zone, I usually try to give you guys exposure to the fantasy cruncher when I have these smaller slates. So I'm going to go by the players that I think I like best in each position, and then basically we're going to throw them on the fantasy cruncher. I did have a few people say, would I be willing to do a fantasy cruncher optimize a lineup on DraftKings or Yahoo. Now, the beauty about Fantasy Cruncher, if you guys do not utilize the tool, and I highly recommend you do, and the link is in the description of this video. It's been there for a couple months. There have been some people that have taken advantage of that, and I appreciate that because I do get a kickback as an affiliate, so you'll be helping me out. But the link is down in the description if you are interested in Fantasy Cruncher. And again, when you sign up for the NBA, you basically are going to have exposure and you're going to have the tools available for you for all 3 of those platforms. Yahoo, which I will show you real. So I'm going to try to draw up a couple quick lineups, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because then it'll be a long video for a 4-game slate, and people are not going to want to watch the video. So, but I'm going to go over the plays that I like best going into today, and we're going to throw them in the optimizer, and I'm going to make one quick lineup, maybe 20, 25 lineups real quickly on Fanduel. Then on DK, and then we'll do one for Yahoo for all of you guys, and hopefully that will help you guys out and make some decisions today. But again, nothing's guaranteed. Just remember that nothing's guaranteed. Even with an optimizer, I don't play a whole lot of the games play lines out of the optimizer. So but they do. It is a good tool. It can help you. All right, let's get right to it. So point guard today. Well, as you can see over here on the overall today, the highest priced player on the slate today is Russell Westbrook, and I'm gonna have a little exposure to Russell. It'll probably be one lineup, and it'll probably be in my quarter GPPs. I am not planning to have him as a core play at 12,000. San Antonio's been playing a little bit better as of late. They are vulnerable at the point guard position, so I think either him or George, obviously, like always, one of the two is more than likely going to go off. It may be Russell today because Paul George has a tough matchup. I would assume he's going to be guarding DeRozan, so it's a tough matchup for DeRozan, and I also think that maybe DeRozan will be on him a little bit too. So I'm a little worried there. San Antonio has been playing better defense as of late. So, but anyway, if I'm going to pay up for anybody tonight, it's going to be Mr. Jokic. I think I'm going to pay up for only Jokic today, and if I could squeeze in a couple of top-tier guards with some drop spot plays, which I think you can do that today, that's probably the way I'm going to go with my lineups today. But at point guard, at the top, you know, you got De'Aaron Fox, you got Kyle Lowry, you got Jamal Murray, and I'd be honest with you, any one of the 3 should be someone that you should be considering. As you know, I love De'Aaron Fox. I will be on Fox again today. I know some of you laugh and be like, hey, you know what, Manny, you didn't, you know, you've chosen, you know, like in other words, I choose Fox a little too often. I have no choice. There's very minimal there's not too many people you can actually choose today in any one of these positions. You know, it's really, really tough because there ain't a lot of options here. But I always will give you guys options here at DFS Zone. So De'Aaron Fox is in play at 8,600, and he's 7,600 on DK. Just to go through him real quickly, we come over here to the cruncher, and we have discussed it. As you can see, I have the thumbs up on De'Aaron. De'Aaron has been great. Other than these 3 games here, in his last 2 games, not quite meeting value, but he's very close. Still getting tons of usage. He's going to get shots. We know the deal here. He's going to take some threes. He's not a big three-point shooter. He's more of the shots. And, of course, he can get some free throws in there. He gets you the rebounds. He can get you some steals and get the occasional block. As you can see, this was a horrific game here the other day. We lost out 8 points from him because of 8 turnovers. That is a lot of turnovers. He needs to clean that up. If he can do that, he'll be just fine today. He is all, when I look at him and I looked at his game log a little bit more, players tend to play a little bit better at home. He is playing just slightly a little bit better. He actually, on the road, he's been shooting better. 44% field goal percentage and 51% on the road as opposed to 44 at home. 44% is a great field goal percentage, but he's shooting 51% on the road, and he's averaging 37 fantasy points per game on both the road and at home, more or less. I think on the road, 38, closer to 38 fantasy points per game. But nonetheless, he's right in his wheelhouse with this price tag. His price tag at DK is pretty good. And versus Detroit, obviously not huge numbers here. This was last year, but it's a totally different year. He's a totally different player, and he has totally a different role. Now he's actually the main guy. This is another thing you also got to remember about De'Aaron Fox and some of the Sacramento players. This game here today is going to be a tough one for Detroit. Detroit is coming in on the front end of a back-to-back. So I love the factors that we got this high-power, high-paced-up game. Team that likes to play really, really fast, take a lot of shots, and obviously their backcourt players take they take most of the shots. Between Hield, between Fox and Bogdanovich, they're the ones that are taking the bulk of the shots for this team in that paced up way that they play. And at the same time, at center, Willie Cauley-Stein takes about 10, 11 shots a game as well. So that's their strength, where Detroit, the backcourt is their weakness. So I definitely like De'Aaron Fox here in this game. Detroit 28th in defending point guards. They've been allowing 32.5 fantasy points per game. And another thing that I was tallying, I started tallying as of late too, is the fantasy points per minute allowed by opponents to opposing position players. And at point guard, they've allowed 1 fantasy point per minute allowed to point guards as of late over the last 5 games as well. So definitely De'Aaron Fox is in a great spot. If he plays more than enough minutes and he takes more than enough shots, I think he'll definitely cover that with no problem. Other than Fox, man, you have guys like Kyrie Irving against Miami. Miami, we know they're a half-court team. They definitely like to slow down the pace, but Boston could play that kind of game as well. And I think Kyrie Irving, in the situation he's the top dog for the Celtics. He's going to get more than his share of shots and opportunity here. 8,400, I think. He is not a bad play whatsoever. I think he can get you 40 or better and meet value here. So Kyrie Irving is someone you got to consider. Jamal Murray, as much as he has burned me and burned a ton of all of you guys out there, I'm sure some of you guys have been killed by Murray this year. He's already burned me about 2 or 3 times. Sometimes you got to go back to the well when you don't have many options like you do here tonight. Jamal Murray could be an option. He could be someone that people are not going to be on. So think of it that way, because he's played that badly when we have taken him, including here on DFS Zone. So Jamal Murray is someone you must have consideration for. At 7,200, you need 36. He is 7,300 on DK. Don't recommend him there. But he does play better at home, slightly better at home. He is shooting 46% at home as opposed to 39% on the road. And he also is equally divided on both the road and at home. He's averaging about 33, 34 fantasy points per game. So he should be able to meet value here. And going up against the Clippers are really poor in the backcourt, man. They really are. This is an area where they can definitely capitalize. The Clippers have been giving up, what we have here, Clips have been giving up 32.4 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. So again, Murray in a good spot, especially at home. You could take a stab at him because he's probably not going to be highly owned at all. Other than that, you got Derek White. Definitely like him here at 5,500 against OKC. He definitely is someone you got to consider here as well. And I do think Reggie Jackson, as poor as he is defensively, where Fox is going to probably eat him up, he has the opportunity, because of the paced-up game, could get quite a bit of shots off as well and be able to get you. I mean, he only need 5,200. You only need 25, 26 to meet value for Reggie Jackson. So he is capable of getting you 30 to 35, and that's all you need. If he can get you 30 to 35, he definitely will meet value. A guy that could be sneaky play here is Tyler Johnson, 4,700. Got to consider him. He'll be in the player pool. And Alexander's been playing a little bit better but as of late, but he's not playing the same amount of minutes. So he's someone to consider. And I think in the bottom end here, you got to consider Patty Mills. He gets 20 to 23 minutes a game, and he's capable of getting you 1 fantasy point per minute. So he could be a very sneaky play here tonight as well. All right, those guys will be in play in the player pool. We go to shooting guard. At shooting guard, I went with this guy the other day. I'm going to go with him again. He didn't shoot as well or didn't put up as many points the other night. And that's Bogdanovich, 6,300. I like the paced up game. I like the factors he's playing against Detroit. Detroit has been giving up fantasy points to the opposing shooting guards, almost 30 fantasy points per game at 29.8 and almost nearly 0.83 fantasy points per minute. So nearly almost 1 fantasy point per minute as well. Bogdanovich is definitely someone to consider here as well. 6,300. You pretty much need 31, 32 to meet value, and 36 or better pretty much in about 4 out of his last 6 games. So that is definitely something to consider there with Mr. Bogdanovich. And we go over here and look at him a little bit better. As you can see, he was pretty steady there. 4 out of the last 6, pretty much at 36 plus. The minutes are there, 30 or better. What I like is that his usage rates is usually pretty balanced, 20 to 22%, and he gets about balanced amount of shots. He's been averaging 13 to 14 shots, but as you can see, there's been some periods where he's got 15 or more. He takes the 3 and he's able to hit those threes at about a 30, almost 40% clip. And of course, he balances out the stat sheet. He gets you some rebounds. He can get you some assists. Totally different from Buddy Hield, who's more of a scoring-dependent shooting guard. And then, of course, this is even more so if Iman Shumpert is out. But even if Shumpert plays, I think he'll still get his about 30 minutes. So Bogdanovich is definitely in play for me. And with the beauty of also, he stays out of foul trouble. He's not one of those guys that gets into foul trouble. So Bogdanovich in play. Detroit 10th in defending shooting guards. They've been allowing 29.8 fantasy points per game, like I said, and nearly 0.84 fantasy points per minute to opposing shooting guards. Other than Bogdanovich, I do like Lou Will, but he's had a horrible history against Denver, and I'm also concerned with Denver as well as how well Denver plays defense, because, I'm a believer. They are very, very tough. But, if Gary Harris is out, even though Beasley has been doing very well, might be guarding Lou Will in this situation. If Harris does play, there's a chance Harris will probably play a little defense on Lou Will, and Harris is a pretty decent defender, so I'll be a little concerned there. But Lou Will at 7,000, needing 35, is capable of getting you 40 or better. Can light it up for 50 any given night as well. If his shot is going down, it could be someone to consider. I'm not too high on DeRozan because of the matchup, because I think he's going to get some Paul George defense. I don't think he's going to be able to get 45. But he'll be near it. He could get 35, 40. And again, anything's possible. He can have a monster game. Paul George might not defend him or not defend him as much as I think he would, and put him in a position that he could get 45, 50 against his team. It's not like he cannot score. It's just that he's going to go up against somebody who may defend him, and it's one of the better defenders in the league, in Paul George. So I'm concerned with that. But Lou Will, Bogdanovich definitely in play. I think Wade you got to consider. Dennis Schroeder here, 5,200. I do sneaky play here because of the amount of minutes he plays. Reggie Bullock could be someone to consider, 4,500. He plays a lot of minutes. Okay. The only problem with the Detroit backcourt is that these guys play more than enough minutes, but they just don't put up enough fantasy points for us. So they're not really good fantasy point players for us. But if you want to be different and want to win a GPP, he may be a sneaky player at 4,500. Dion Waiters, same thing. He's starting to get his minutes now. He's just got back from a long stretch where he was not playing, was injured. He could be someone you can grab here at 4,400, but Miami's one of those teams just like the Knicks, and sometimes even the Kings with Coach Yeager. You just don't know what Spoelstra is going to do with some of these players, because he's got quite a bit of players that he can play at guard as well as in the front court with the power forward and the small forward spot. You see, he's still got Ellington. Torrey Craig could be someone. But I am watching this Malik B. Watch out for the news on Gary Harris with that hamstring injury. If Harris is out, definitely Malik Beasley. Started the last few times. If he starts, I definitely love him at 3,900. He's a perfect drop spot guy. And I think he's one of maybe 2 guys that you definitely got to consider today in that drop spot. Malik Beasley will be in play, so he'll be also in the cruncher. Luke Kennard could be a very sneaky play too here against Sacramento. If Sacramento starts blowing this game wide open, considering the Detroit is on the front end of back-to-back, you never know. Got to keep him in mind. He's capable of getting you 25, 30 as well in a short period of time. All right, let's go to small forward. A small forward, man, to be honest with you, it is really tough here. And I'm more in favor of paying all the way down here at small forward today and taking guys like Justin Jackson at 3,900, maybe even a Derrick Jones Jr. who hasn't had as many amount of minutes. Again, that's a risk factor with Derrick Jones Jr. because, like I just said, Spoelstra, moves these guys around. He has so many guys that could play multiple positions. But I do like Justin Jackson there as of late because Belizia has been getting less minutes, and 5,400 again. He may bite us in the butt today as much as he bit me in the butt a couple of days back. He may come back today. Coach Yeager may put him to play freaking 30 minutes today, and he puts up a 35-40 spot. So you never know. I mean, with Belizia, but I would say Justin Jackson, Bertans. I'm okay with Bertans here as well with no Rudy Gay. I'm a little hesitant with the Boston-Miami game with Winslow and Richards. I think they can get you. I think they'll be decent cash plays. I think they will get you that 28 to 30, 30 to 32 range between those two guys. But as far as them going off and putting up 40 or 50 and really exceeding value, I'm a little concerned. I don't know if they'll be able to do that. So this is a tough spot for me. But like I said, I do like Justin Jackson here at small forward. So he'll be in the player pool. We'll go to power forward. And at power forward, you got Blake Griffin at the top, Aldridge. I am not in favor of any of these guys. Blake Griffin could be someone that can have a big game. Like I said before, Detroit's front court is their strength. And Sacramento have a little vulnerability in the front court, especially if Bagley is not playing, and he's not 100% even if he plays. But, if he does play, it definitely will help. Blake Griffin and them are in the front end of back-to-back. They did lose last night to the Lakers. They need to at least bounce back and try to get a better game. They didn't play as well last night. Again, anything can happen here. I think Blake is in a good matchup if he does play. If they play and he plays more than enough minutes. I mean, I don't think a back-to-back situation is a problem for Blake Griffin. He's a physical specimen. Maybe more so for Mr. Drummond. But I am looking at it here. I like paying down here at power forward as well. You got to come here to this middle 4,000 under 5K. You got Bam, you got Morris, and you got Kelly Olynyk. And I'd be honest with you, I like Morris and Kelly Olynyk the most at 47 and 46. And Olynyk is only 3,900 on DK. He's a must in your lineup. Granted, we don't know, but he's a premier drop spot play for you guys today at power forward, considering there ain't really anybody overwhelmingly here that you would probably target unless you really want to pay off for Aldridge or Blake Griffin. Because the matchup here for Denver with LA for Harris and Harrell is going to be a tough one, even though I probably would favor Harrell a little bit more in the matchup today because of his physicality for Denver versus Denver. I think he will match up better. But Millsap could be another one. I definitely like Millsap also as well, 6,800. He'll be in the player pool. You got to consider Jason Tatum, but I'm willing to pay down. I like Marcus Morris here. As you know, I've said it before. I do like the Morris brothers, and especially when they are cheap. He is 4,700. I mean, 4,700 for him. You only need 23. On DK, he's too expensive. I don't recommend him on DK. On DK, he's 5,600, folks. So you need 26 there. Not that he can't get it done because he's averaging 26, but he is definitely below price here in this matchup today versus Miami at 4,700. And again, I am basing this decision more so on the factors that this is a 6,000 plus value player. He should be 6,000, 6,500 when he's healthy, but he's had some moments where he's not played a few games, and I guess his price tag has been down. But I mean, he's pretty steady, man. 22 to 25, pretty much on average. He can get you 30. He can get you 40 at this price tag. I like the matchup going up against either Bam or Kelly Olynyk or James Johnson. They need his physicality. He's also a good three-point shooter. He's coming in here, like I said. Well, let's go over to the cruncher, which I didn't do. Power forward. And we'll go down to Mr. Marcus Morris. And as you can see, the numbers are not pretty, man. This is more about factors of the price. And if you look here, even right now, you can see the price. He's over 6,000 earlier this year. He's cheap right now, 4,700. He was 5,100 in his last game, and he put up a 34 spot, and basically met value. And they actually dropped his price even lower. And it's all due to the fact that he's facing Miami. Granted, if I look here, I'm sure he has not had great games against Miami. He only put up a 23 spot in that first meeting early in the year. But at that price tag, he's too cheap, man. Again, if he gets you 27, 28, even 30, he's going to meet value. So I'm more so into looking at it as a factor that he is right now at a discount, and you got to take advantage of the discount. Other than that, he's been doing fairly well with everything else. I mean, he gets more than enough shot, 8 or 9 shots a game, more than 23 minutes a game. His usage rate when he's on the court, 20% or better pretty much on average. He can hit the three, and he can hit it at a pretty nice clip, 40 to 50%. He gets to the foul line, and of course he brings the physicality, some rebounds, can get you a few assists, and he's capable of getting you some steals and blocks on occasion. So he brings a number of little things to the table. I think this is a day that they need his physicality going up against Bam or Kelly, or both throughout the course of the game. Other than Morris, you got to consider Bam or Kelly. The only problem is with Spoelstra, you don't know who he's gonna play more. But for 3,900 on DK, Kelly Olynyk is definitely a great play. You only need 19 from him. This is a guy that's got 35, 40 point upside. So he has a lot of upside, and I think he's had the better success against his team. Against Boston, last year 45, 20, and 34, as opposed to Bam, who probably wasn't playing the same amount of minutes, but Bam has been playing pretty consistent, 22 or more fantasy points per game over the last 4, and as you can see, not a great record against Boston last year. All right, but Miami's coming in here 17th defending power forwards, and they've been allowing 26.6 fantasy points per game. Other than those three, those are the guys that I favor. If you're going to go down, if you were to pay up, I would say Millsap will be my favorite choice up here, and then maybe Montrezl Harrell, simply because of the physicality. He's got to go up against Millsap. He got to go up against Jokic. I think that'll be a nice matchup. All right, we go to center. But we're going to throw all these guys in a player pool, and we'll see what it optimizes. At center, it's an easy one for me, man. I am all over my boy Jokic. Jokic is in play for me. He's the one stud that I will pay up for today, and if he bombs, he bombs. 11,000, you need 55 from him. He's 10,500 on DK, you need 53. He's averaging about 46, 47 fantasy points per game. He has been at pretty much, I think, 45 or better it's 46 average. He's been at 46 or better in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games. 6 straight games just smashing things. All 6 games, pretty much 5 out of the 6 games, he's been a double-double, and he's had 2 triple-doubles. And he brings you some blocking and some steals. He can definitely defend. So, not much more I can say about Jokic. He is definitely a guy that you must consider today. Granted, if anybody's paying up today in the center spot, more than likely he's going to be the highest owned center. Okay, but if somebody's willing to play Westbrook or possibly Paul George or even Blake Griffin or Drummond, then Jokic will be least amount owned. He will be not as highly owned. But again, out of all the guys here on the top, these are the only ones I'm looking at. Jokic, you got to consider Drummond. Okay, Drummond at 9,008 versus Sacramento. They're 22nd in defending centers. 35 fantasy points per game and giving up 1.23 fantasy points per minute to opposing centers over the last 5 games. And going back to Jokic, he's going up against the Clippers. They're 16th, as you can see here on the Fantasy Cruncher, defending centers. They've been giving up 36.6 fantasy points per game, a little bit more than Sacramento, and coughing up 1.26 fantasy points per minute to opposing centers. And we got a guy here that can put up a 1.3, 1.4 spot on them right away. So Jokic in play. Other than Jokic, Drummond, and if it's not Drummond, I think Willie Cauley-Stein should be your last choice. So if you want to pay down, go all the way down to Willie Cauley-Stein. I think that's not a bad play at 7,500. Him going up against Andrew Drummond. We know that Drummond is not the greatest defender as well. Stein is a little bit more athletic. That may be a plus for him. All right, that's where I'm at with the guys. Now let's punch these guys in. So I basically told you the guys that I like and that I'm looking at. And again, Gary Harris out. Like I said, you got to consider Beasley. Okay, there's no doubt about it. Let me just go over that one more time because I'm trying to be quick, but at the same time, my videos are never quick. It's just that I feel there's so much information that has to be shared, if I'm going to have an audience, and I'd rather not shortchange anybody and just say, hey, I like this guy, and this is the reason why, and that's it, which a lot of people like that. But, there are some of my viewers that do appreciate getting the added information, the fantasy point totals, and so on and so forth, and getting injury news. So, yeah, Iman Shumpert, if he's out, definitely you got to consider Bogdanovich even more. He usually gets a bump. Gary Harris, if he's out, I'm thinking Beasley. You could consider a little bit of minutes maybe for Juancho, Hernan Gomez, and, Bagley more than likely is going to play. And that's basically it. All right, so let's go over to the Cruncher. Let's go over to the cruncher. Sorry about that. All right, so let's go over to the top. I'm gonna put all in here. I'm gonna click on all, even though all mines have the thumbs on it. All. Okay, and this one is for FanDuel. So FanDuel players, I'm gonna, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you stuck around for the end of the video now, I'm gonna just optimize all three platforms. So we'll start with FanDuel first, and I'm only doing 30 lineups. Let's see what we get out of that. This is for FanDuel, and just to be as quick as I can here, let's see what we got today. All right, 30 lineups are up. Paul Millsap seems to be the top dog. Paul George 100%. Wow. Okay, Jokic 97%. Fox 90%, Reggie Jackson 77%, Jaylen Brown 53%, Monty Morris 53%, Bruce Brown Jr. 50%, and it goes on and on. If you can see that on the screen, you'll see that over here, the percentages. Now let's click at each individual position. We got Fox at 90%. He's the top point guard with Reggie Jackson. Kyrie Irving is third at 17% of the lineups has him in it, and then Derek White, which I do like all four of these guys, which I did mention that I did like White as a low value play, as a a cheaper guard, as well as Reggie Jackson in these matchups. So again, you can go either or. You can pair up Fox with Jackson. You can pair up Fox with White. You can pair up Irving with Jackson or Irving with White, or you can even go top dog Fox and Irving. If you're willing to do the drop spot situation at power forward and small forward, like I recommended, you could you could find value to be able to have two top guards here if you really feel that that was an area that you really want to target. Shooting guard Brown is the top dog, 53%. He was tied with Monty Morris, 53%. And you got Brown 50%, Bogdanovich, which was my selection, 23%, Torrey Craig 10%, Reggie Bullock, which I mentioned as a possible sneaky play, 7%, then Dion Waiters 3%. At small forward, we got Paul George 100%, which I'll have some exposure to Paul George, but I don't feel that I need him that much today. I still think that his matchup is a little difficult one. But George 100%. They got Davis Bertans, which I did mention, 47%, especially with Rudy Gay out. You got to consider him. He's only 4,400. Gordon Hayward is someone that I definitely have plans to have exposure to today. I was going to label him as the top small forward today, but I was still undecided when I decided to do the video. I said, you know what, I'll just touch upon, some of the cheaper small forwards like Justin Jackson. You got Belizia at 10%, Justice Winslow, and then Stanley Johnson. At power forward, you got Millsap 100%, Morris 47%, Giles 33%, Jason Tatum 20%, and at center, of course, is Jokic and Willie Cauley-Stein 3%. So Jokic is the top dog in 29 out of the 30 lineups that are optimized here. He's in that lineup. So Jokic is going to be probably a highly owned player. Let me just let you see a few of these lines here. You got Fox, Jackson, Brown, Morris, Paul George, Hayward, Millsap, Marcus Morris, and Jokic. This line here is Fox, Jackson, Brown, Morris, George, Hayward, Millsap, Morris, Jokic. And again, this gives you an idea. You don't have to actually play the same exact line. You can actually use this as a base, put it on your FanDuel, and then just start eliminating who you want. Now, again, with Fantasy Cruncher, like I've explained the other day, you could cancel this guy out. You could cancel out anybody you want right here with the X's. You could lock them in there. Any one of these guys you want to lock in there and make them in all part of your lineups as a core, you can do that. And the software allows you to also change the players. Let's say I don't want no part of Monty Morris, for instance. So I click on that, and as you can see, it opens up the door and it gives you every other player his price tag or lower that is available, so that I can meet the budget. So then you could swap him for Brown, you can swap him for Craig, you can swap him for Iman Shumpert, Beasley. I will probably go Beasley. Again, you just mix it up. So the beauty of the software, this is what it helps you out with, is that you can choose all the players, you can choose the ones you like, and then you can just start eliminating and optimizing even more so. So that's what FanDuel has got. Now let's go to the top. I'm going to give you guys, I told you guys we'll give you a DK line, and I already had calculated that. 30 lineups again on DK. And on DK, these are the numbers we got. If I can get it down here. Okay, so on DK, sorry, I thought I had the line here. I guess not. We're going to make a new line. We're going to use Fantasy Cruncher's projections. Remember, these projections are theirs. They're not mine. And there goes the conker. Let's see what numbers come out. And then you can match them up. You can pause the video and write down the ones that came up for FanDuel. If you're a FanDuel player, if you play on all three platforms, you can write all three of them down. And you can figure out more or less. But you got here at the top, we're almost done with the 30 lines. And 30 lines here has Millsap 100%, the top guy, De'Aaron Fox 100%, Reggie Jackson 93%. I think that's already a change from FanDuel. They got Aldridge here at 87%, George 87%, Bertans 57%, Brown 40%, Willie Cauley-Stein 33%. So as you can see, not even. We go over each position. Point guard, Fox is on top, Jackson second, Brown third, then Forbes, Morris, Irving, Winslow, and White. Shooting guard, Jackson, Brown, Forbes, Waiters, Bellinelli, Bullock, Hield, and White. Small forward, you got George on top, so he's also the top dog at small forward here at DK. Bertans, 57%. You got Tatum, Waiters, Bellinelli, Winslow, Bullock, and Hield. At power forward is Millsap, Aldridge, George, Bertans, Tatum, and Giles. And at center, Millsap at center also. Wow, I didn't even know Millsap was center eligible. I would not put him in the center spot, but you can utilize him here. Paul Millsap, Aldridge, Stein, Giles, and then Jokic is dead last. All right, and let me just go over real quickly a few of these guys. First line says Brown, Jackson, Bertans, Millsap, Aldridge, Fox, George, and Stein. This one says Morris, Jackson, Bertans, Millsap, Aldridge, Fox, George, and Willie Cauley-Stein. The third line says Jackson, Waiters, Bertans, Millsap, Aldridge, Fox, George, and Stein. And again, I'll just stop here, and you can always pause it and look at those if you want. And then I'll stop here and let you guys take a look at that one, those three. And then again, same thing here. And if you were to use this tool, you can very easily just switch players here. You can take them out of the lineup here, and you can lock them in here. So you have all that access right in front of you. All right. So that's for DK. Let's go to the top, and we'll do one for Yahoo real quickly, and we'll get you guys out of here. Okay, Yahoo now. I did print that out already. As you can see, it stood on here. I did it before. And you got Millsap, Jokic 100%, Fox 100%, and you got Bullock 70%, which I told you guys, possible sneaky play, Mr. Bullock. Reggie Jackson 67%, I did mention him. Bertans 60%, I did mention him. You got Drummond 57, Forbes 40. Derek White I do like better than Forbes, but there's an option there. So you got two options, 37%, Gallinari 33, Brown 33%, Russell 27, Russell Westbrook 27%, Waiters 20, and George 13. We do it by position. You got point guard, Fox is on top, so he's on top on all three platforms. Reggie Jackson 67%, then Mr. Derek White 37%, Westbrook 27%, Murray finally only on Yahoo 7%, and Kyrie Irving only 3%. He's only in one lineup out of the 30 here. Shooting guards, Forbes, Brown, Waiters, Richardson, and Craig. Don't look too pretty there. Bullock, Gallinari, George, Hield, Tatum, and Shumpert in the small forward spot. Power forward, Millsap, Bertans, Tobias Harris, and Marcus Morris, which is my guy. And at center, Jokic, which is my boy, Drummond 57%, and Willie Cauley-Stein. The three that I did mention are all here on Yahoo. So just to share with you a line or two from Yahoo, you got Russell, Westbrook, got Forbes, Jackson, Bullock, Millsap, Bertans, Jokic, and Fox as the flex. Then you got Westbrook, Brown, Jackson, Bullock, Millsap, Bertans, Jokic, and Fox. The third line has White, Forbes, Westbrook, Bullock, Millsap, Bertans, Jokic, and Fox. We'll go through a couple more rows here so you can see a couple different lines. That's line 2. There goes line 3 there. You can always pause it, take a look at it. If you can see it clearly, you should be able to. And line number 4. And line number 5. And that's basically it. Again, if you want to utilize this tool, man, I highly recommend it. It's not that expensive a month to use it. I think it's like $20 or even lower, or around that $20 range. But it's a very good tool. I've been using Fantasy Cruncher for a long while now, and they have all the other sports as well. If you do MLB, NHL, golf, MMA, NASCAR, which I use it for, WNBA, which I use it for. I don't use it only for the NFL. I didn't use it for NFL as of yet, but MLB and NBA, as well as NASCAR and WNBA, I have utilized it before. So very nice software. Again, so that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. That is pretty much it for today in this 4-game slate, man. I wish you guys a lot of luck. Hey, drop a like on the video. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, be a part of the community here. And of course, you know, any comments, anything you want to ask, you can definitely comment right here in the video. Write down, comment down on the video here at the bottom of the video. And at the same time, if you want to check out the tool and you want to utilize Fantasy Cruncher, I highly recommend it. The link is there. You'll definitely be helping me out if you go to that link there. And that's basically it, man. Good luck tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.